What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we're going to be watching a top 4 game from the Chicago, Schaumburg, Illinois Adepticon, call it what you will, Vault Tour from last weekend. On the left, we have Kalina, we have seen a couple of times already on the stream. Playing her, now I've been calling it Luzvex, it's actually Iuzvex, the aggressive volcano predator. And on the right, we have got Daniel playing MX Honganale Delgado. Although I'm probably going to be calling him Dan. Dan, I hope that's all right. And what's weird is we've actually got a house mirror, which we have not seen that often. Both players are playing Brobnar, Shadows, and Untamed. Now, they are not exactly the same. Colleen has bait and switch, whereas Dan does not. They do both have full moon. But Dan's actually got a Mighty Tiger, the first time we've seen that on the stream so far in this tournament. So, not exactly the same, but we do have the same houses. And I think we're just about ready to go. We are indeed, and straight away, that is Telegra. A rare card, we don't see that often. Each time your opponent plays a creature, gain 1 Ember. That is a great turn 1 play from Dan there, because now actually we can see his name on the lanyard there, and that's amazing because, oh look, you play Silvertooth, opponent gets an Ember. Now you then do 2 damage, and look, you clearly your priority, and then Relentless Whispers takes it out, steals an Ember, and that actually, to be fair, that was amazing, because had he not had an Ember, then Kalina wouldn't have been able to steal one using Relentless Whispers. So that's actually kind of cool, but generally speaking, that's a great turn 1 play. Your opponent just has to dedicate everything to taking it out as fast as they possibly can. Oh, such a good play from Daniel there, but actually didn't work out in the end. Now that is actually the common cold. Deal 1 damage to each creature, you may destroy each Mars creature. Great if you're against Mars, not if you're not. He then gets down an Ancient Bear and a Witch of the Eye. Great for getting cards back. And ooh, that's kind of a fun one. Nature's Call. Return up to 3 creatures to their opponent's hand. So clearly, he's going to get Kalina's creature back. Not going to get his own. It is up to, so there's no... He doesn't need to get them back, so he chooses not to. Draws until he's done, and then we're good. And Kalina there just checking his discard pile. That is public information. You are allowed to know what's in there. So, what are we doing here in terms of Kalina? She's got 2 Ember, which is nice, but nothing on the board. So straight away, she actually drops down a... No. I'm lying to you, ladies. It's not Nature's Call. It's Lost in the Woods, very similar. Choose 2 friendly creatures and 2 enemy creatures. Shuffle each chosen creature into their owner's deck. Lost in the Woods and Nature's Call are quite similar. It's easy to get them confused, especially when a player is playing both of them. Snufflegator goes down. Still my favourite creature in Call of the Archons, design-wise. Maybe it's because I have a bearded dragon at home. He's called Toffee, and I love him. But Snufflegator, 4-power creature with Skirmish. Nothing to sneeze at. Really good for attacking, because Skirmish means you don't take any damage in return. So it's quite nice to be able to just throw that out there knowing it's not going to go down. Up to 3 Ember is nice, but that's it. 3 Ember, 1 creature on the board, and Dan's got 2 Ember and literally nothing on the board. It's not a stellar start from either player here. We see some explosive starts. Now, it looks like he's just discarding the Sting there. That, essentially, you don't get to forge a key, but you get to all the Ember when your opponent forges a key. He then plays a Light Out, returning creatures to his opponent's hand. Then he plays a Poison Wave, which would do damage, but it doesn't because there's no creature on the field. And he's doing what we saw, I want to say, Tyler do in the previous round, just playing a bunch of cards purely for the Ember. Now, we do see a Sequel Leader coming down, then we see a Poison Wave, but again, there's nothing there to hit. We see, is that Magda the Rat coming down? I believe it is. No. Selwyn the Fence. Something to something. When you fight or reap, you move an Ember from one of your cards to your pool. Great if you've got Captured Ember. So she's up to 4 Ember. But still, not a huge amount going on here. Very slow, very cagey. Neither player's got enough cards from any one house to really start doing very much here. It's all slow, cagey, not much going on. Though we do see a fire spitter coming down, which is quite nice. Deals 1 damage to each enemy creature before the fight. Gang a chieftain. When you play it, you get to ready and fight with a friendly creature. And of course, he uses it to ready and fight with fire spitter and take out Magda the Rat. No, Selwyn defense. Something the something. So he's managed to clear Kalina's board, which is very nice. And it looks like he actually gets another creature down. That is a grenade snib. When it's destroyed, your opponent loses 2 Ember. Oh, and brothers. No, that's not brothers in battle. I'm lying to you, ladies and gentlemen. That is... Is that unguarded camp? No, that's Relentless Assault. Ready and fight with up to 3 different friendly creatures, 1 at a time. But of course, when you ready them, I can't fight, so you don't fight. But they're still ready, and that's how he was able to reap with them. It's weird, because he's got brothers in battle. Choose a house for the remainder of the turn. Each friendly creature in that house might fight. Relentless Assault, ready and fight with up to 3 different friendly creatures. And he's got Gang of Chieftain that lets you ready and fight with a friendly creature. So there's a lot of... I mean, one of the things that Dan's deck does beautifully here is that it allows you to ready and fight with your creatures, even in situations where you probably shouldn't be able to. It's one really good thing about his deck here. And we do see that in a lot of the good decks. They have lots of very similar effects, what I like to call themes running through the deck. So you can just do very similar things over and over. It gives your deck a purpose. It means you can actually start building a strategy. And he can just ready and fight and essentially clear his opponent's board. And remember, when they're cleared, you ready a creature. There's nothing to fight. Now you get to reap instead. So lots of similar things in Dan's deck, but that's not a terribly bad thing. It's weird because I don't love Brobnar. It's my least favourite house. But I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, seems to be working. We got a top 4 game here, double Brobnar. Now, Snufflegator goes down again. We also get a Vigor. Heal up to 3 damage from a creature. If you healed 3 damage, gain an Ember. And then we see a, let's get it right this time, Nature's Call. Just returning all 3 of Dan's creatures back to his hand. No, only 2, of course. She could have made him pick up Gang of Chieftain, but Gang of Chieftain, when you play it, you may ready and fight with a neighbouring creature. It's got a nice coming into play ability, so yeah, you don't want that. So Dan is able to forge his first key there. He's got enough Ember. Actually had 1 more than he needed, so he gets the Ember there. Gets the key. Job's a good un. So he is up 1 key to 0. Now, Kalina does actually have enough Ember to forge a key on her next turn. And, I mean, look, Dan plays Shadows. Shadows are great at stealing Ember. If he had a bait and switch, he doesn't. But if he had a bait and switch, he'd be able to nick free of that Ember now, get himself well on the way to another key while hurting Rachel. And that's one of the things about Keyforge being a unique deck game. On the one hand, it's kind of nice. But on the other hand, you end up in these situations where you've got this deck you really, really like, and you just go, I wish I had a bait and switch. And there's nothing you can do. So do you hold out for a deck with bait and switch, which is potentially a little bit weaker overall? Or do you go for the stronger deck overall that's missing that one card you'd really like in there? And that is a question with which we're all faced when we're looking at these Keyforge decks. I mean, I think I've got about a dozen decks sitting around here. It's hard to know which is the best one sometimes. So you just have to play lots of games. Dust Pixie comes down there, gets a double Ember bonus for Dan. So we do have an Untamed turn here. And I don't know what he's got to make his opponent lose Ember. Oh, that's a nice one. Now we see Nature's Call coming down, returning 3 creatures to his hand. And oh, look. I wonder if he's going to play that Dust Pixie down again. He did! What a shock. Incidentally, there are 2 in his deck. Now, here is the other thing that Dan can do here. Dan can go, actually, right, you know what? I cannot stop Kalina forging a key. I don't have enough stealing. Maybe later on, maybe I get a few Shadows cards down. As it stands at the moment, it's not something I'm able to do. But I've forged a key and she hasn't. And I've got enough Ember to forge next turn, so let's just do this. Does play a Nocturnal Maneuver, exhaust up to 3 creatures. Alas, there are no creatures on Kaline's side to exhaust. Does get an Ember bonus, which is quite nice. Unfortunately, not much else. Now, you see here, in contrast to the other rounds we've seen, there's a lot more checking the discard pile than we saw before. Because we're in top 4, this game means a lot more. You win this, you're through to the final, so it really is crunch time now. We are down to, hang on a second, I need to make sure every play is perfect, because it's coming down to it. And you see the players taking that little bit more time to really make sure they're making that perfect play. Because you don't want to lose out on a misplay. Now, look, you never want to lose out on a misplay. But if you're in round 3 and you lose on a misplay, you're like, ah, gosh darn, that's annoying. If you're in top 4 and you lose out on a misplay, that's not good. And we've only had 2 Vault Tools before this one. We had Seattle, which was sealed. And we had Eindhoven. I've got pretty much all the rounds from Eindhoven on this channel, including the final, which is becoming one of the more popular videos on this channel. There we go. That was the right way round. Speaking of the right way round, Kaline has been able to forge a key. She has evened it up. And we're sitting there looking at Dan with 7 Ember. So the question for Kaline is, look, she's playing Shadows. Can she even it up? Would be a great time to play bait and switch. Doesn't look like she's got it in her hand. Looks like she's got 2 cards in her hand. One looks to be Oubliette. And then it might be a Relentless Whispers, the other one, which is not going to do a huge amount for her. I mean, look, they're both fine cards. Relentless Whispers will destroy Dust Pixie and get her an Ember, or Oubliette can purge it. And there it is. Relentless Whispers will destroy it and get her an Ember. Plays the Oubliette or discards it, see what you will. But that's it. That was her entire turn. I didn't think it was going to be a great Shadows turn. It wasn't a great Shadows turn. And now we see Dan being able to forge a key. Not ideal for Kaline. And Dan here is just 1 key away from the final. He needs to just forge 1 more key and that's it. He's through to the final. So he gets down a Fire Spitter. Is this one of those, let's just rush? Oh, Ganger Chieftain comes down. Allows him to ready and fight. Can't fight, so he reaps. Down comes a Grenade Snib. Oh, here's a fun one. Now, yeah, that is the Brothers in Battle I mentioned earlier. Lets you ready and fight with each creature, except you can't fight with them. So you've readied them and you've got your Ember, but you can't actually fight, but they're still ready, so now we should be able to reap. And this is weird. This is not really what Brobnar is supposed to do. The whole point of Brobnar as a house is grr smash. Oh, now we do see a Mimicry coming down there. And that seems to be copying a Nature's Call, just returning the creatures to the hand, but not Ganger Chieftain. Sorry, I misspoke about Brothers in Battle. It lets them fight. It does not ready them. It just lets them fight. So my apologies, my Brothers in Battle was wrong there. It doesn't ready them like a Ganger Chieftain. It just lets them fight. That's why Dan was unable to reap. It's why he didn't get the Ember. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Now we do see Navigator down. We also see a Murmook. Murmook is one of these untamed creatures we're seeing over and over again in these decks, because Murmook increases the cost of of forging by 1 Ember. Which means that now, in order to win the game, Dan is going to have to get to 7 Ember rather than 6. That's not ideal. It's not ideal at all. Of course, Rachel... Why do I keep calling it? She's not called Rachel. She's called Kaline. I don't know why I keep doing this. And I said in the previous round, Kaline, if you're watching this, I am sorry. Please don't hate me. I have no idea why I'm calling you by the wrong name. I just feel bad at this stage. But Murmook keeps coming up in these Untamed decks. It increases the cost of forging a key. It's good. I still think Mars is better off with Grabber, Jammer, and Jammer Pack. But Murmook, not bad, ladies and gentlemen. Not bad at all. So we do see an Urchin coming down, allowing Dan to steal an Ember. That's quite nice. And then we see Fagin coming down. Now, Fagin's not doing very much now, But next turn, it's got elusive, and when you reap, you get an urchin from play or from your discard pile to your hand. That's quite nice. And it seems to be a pawn sacrifice coming down. I think there was a pawn sacrifice, which allowed him to get rid of that Murmook. Does not want Murmook sitting out on the field. Does not want Murmook there. Now, we do see Mighty Javelin hitting the field here. That's got an Omni ability. Lets you deal 4 damage when you destroy it. Can be done on any turn. Then you get 3 different creatures down all in one go. That's nice. Is it going to be enough? Maybe not. I mean, as it stands, Kalina's not forged her second key yet. Dan has, and he's got 4 Ember. What Dan really needs here is one of those turns where he just goes, "Brr," and just gets a whole bunch of Ember down. Now, Fagin can reap to get an Ember, and that will get an Urchin which will steal an Ember, and it will get it from the discard. So that's good. We like that. That would put him on enough Ember to potentially force the following turn. I don't know if 6 is going to be enough. The other thing to bear in mind, Kalina's not yet played her bait and switch. So that is still hanging out there. She doesn't play too much to protect. I don't think she doesn't play burn the stockpile. It's basically just bait and switch she plays, and I don't think it's come down yet. So that is something that Dan wants to be a little wary about, and now he's got to ask the question. Do I just want to go nuts with Ember and risk a bait and switch play? Or do I want to keep up to 6 or 7 Ember, but then I risk not being able to forge when my opponent just steals 1 or 2? And I don't think there's a right answer. Now, he is doing what I suggested with the whole reap with Fagin, get an Urchin, play Fagin, steal an Ember and all of that. So that's working out quite nicely for him. He is then able to play a Ghostly Hand, gets him 2 Ember. If Kalina had 1 Ember, he could steal it, but she doesn't. She has 2, which is sad. If only he could steal 1 more Ember. So this is it. This is the turn. Dan's got 2 keys forged. He's got 8 Ember. And if Kalina cannot... and she's got 1 Shadows card in hand. If she's not able to stop him forging a key, he's going to the final. She has got to take away 3 Ember this turn, or her tournament run ends here. She's had a good tournament run. Now, she is able to use Mighty Javelin to get rid of Fagin, and that helps. And she is able to use Seeker Needle to get rid of Urchin and get an Ember, and that helps. And she is able to get old Bruno down and capture 3 Ember, and that really helps. Old Bruno, great play there. Of course, we do see Charette over in the Dis house that does the same thing. But old Bruno, when you play it down, you capture 3 Ember. And sure, when Dan takes down old Bruno, he gets that Ember back, but he doesn't do it now. That's the key. That Ember will go back to Dan when old Bruno goes away. But he doesn't have it at the beginning of the turn. So it doesn't really matter. He's not forging. To be fair, Kalina still hasn't forged her second key. It's been several turns I've been saying this now, and it's still not happened. So make no mistake about it. That was a good turn from Kalina. She stopped him forging. She captured a bunch of Ember. But not only has she not forged her second key, she's not in a position to do so next turn either. Oh, now there's actually 3 copies of Punch in Dan's deck. One of them comes down, punches old Bruno right in the face, gets an Ember bonus, and gets that captured Ember back. And now he's in an even better position than he was last turn. Not in terms of board state, you understand. His board state is, to be blunt, terrible. He's got a Ganger Chieftain, that's literally it. But he's got 2 keys forged, and I think he's rocking 10 Ember now. Down comes Fire Spitter, that's quite nice. And looks like Grenade Snib comes down as well. And now he's rocking 10 Ember. There's nothing Kalina can do. She doesn't have bait and switch. She doesn't have any other cards. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is that. Congratulations to Dan, who is going into the final. And we'll see him in the final very shortly. Commiserations to Kalina. I believe that's 3 times we've had her on the stream. Won the first 2. Been an excellent sport. Played superbly throughout. Kept being called Rachel, sorry about that. But as it stands, Dan's deck just too powerful here. We didn't see what we've seen in so many rounds before, where one player is just going, "No, you shall not forge." What we saw was a fairly slow game, but Dan was just able to clear Kalina's board and get just enough Ember to pull it out in the end. Congratulations to both of them for making it this far. Top 4 of the Vault Tour is nothing to be sniffed at. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, Dan's deck was just a little bit too good. So we will see him in the final very shortly. I believe that's going to be uploaded tomorrow, if the plan holds. So thank you very much to those guys for being on stream. Thank you to Cascade Games for allowing us to do this. And of course, make sure you tell me what you think about this video down below. Tell me about it, discuss it, go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk about games like Keyforge, but also a bunch of others. Thank you very much. No. But the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.